I know that the New York Jets need a running back to help facilitate the possible Breece Hall injury, but are we really talking about a Josh Jacobs trade?
Inside, and a beauty! Hall running free! Breece Hall inside the 10! He's gonna score!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and I can't believe I have to make this video. Apparently, the New York Jets are interested in trading for Josh Jacobs, which just doesn't make sense in my eyes from a financial standpoint, a draft capital standpoint, just a team structure standpoint. Now, let me start by saying that Josh Jacobs, in my opinion and in my estimation, is probably the second or third best running back in the NFL, period, depending on how you rank Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. I have him clear-cut number 3 because I like Saquon and Christian McCaffrey a little bit more than Josh Jacobs. And adding a player like Josh Jacobs to the New York Jets would be insane for the New York Jets. Having that would be the best running back tandem in the NFL. Hands down, it's not even close. But there's a couple of things that a lot of people that keep reporting this, specifically from the national media, because you're not seeing this from Jets content creators because we're not that dumb. But in what world are the New York Jets, who more than likely won't have a first-round pick next year, right? And we can't trade our second-round pick this year or our first-round pick this year, because they're both tied up in the Aaron Rodgers trade. They're not assets that we can move. So for those of you who don't know, obviously, it's a second-round pick that we traded for Aaron Rodgers, but it's a condition can turn into a first. Both of those picks get held. So we can't trade a second-round pick. And the rumor is that what they're asking for is a day 2 pick. So now you're having to trade a third-round pick for Josh Jacobs. But then I think here's the kicker, is that when he gets here, he's going to want to get paid. So you're now probably committing $10+ million for one of the best running backs in the NFL, hands down, to ultimately end up being running back 2 once Breece Hall is fully healthy. In what world does that make sense? I understand getting better, go and get as many good players as you can, but the financial commitment to a guy like Josh Jacobs and the draft capital that you would need to send to a guy like Josh Jacobs doesn't make sense. Now, there was this rumor floated out there that if, and this is a big if teams like the New York Giants and the Las Vegas Raiders rescind and take off the franchise tag, they can remove the tag from these players, essentially creating them as undrafted free agents. That's a different conversation because the market doesn't value running backs. And this idea that they're going to find $10 million a year in a running back contract in the open market just doesn't make sense. Now, in an open competition for the services of Josh Jacobs, now it makes a little bit more sense. Now I feel a little bit more comfortable giving him $7 or $8 million a year, and we get to keep all of our draft picks. But this idea of combining draft picks and then a ton of money for one of the best running backs in the NFL just doesn't compute. I would have much rather spent that money in another position. Or like just in reality, using all of that money in the Aaron Rodgers restructure. I know that our team and our roster isn't complete, but there's no such thing as a complete roster. At this point in time, it might make more sense just to make sure that we get the best out of the players that are in our system. And the gap between, this is going to sound really, really bad, but like, let me finish before you guys start commenting. The gap between Dalvin Cook and Josh Jacobs, while massive, is not as the value that Josh Jacobs is allegedly worth or looking for in terms of the draft capital and the contract that he wants, in my opinion, is not as high as the value that we would just get out of Dalvin Cook to come in and be running back 2. That's what I'm saying. Josh Jacobs is far and away better than Dalvin Cook in almost every measurable statistic. I'm not going to argue that he's not. But a third-round pick and $10+ million a year over the next couple of years for Josh Jacobs, or $4 or $5 million for Dalvin Cook, I prefer one over the other. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.